Namaskar and good evening. We welcome you to this really special episode, which is our humble tribute celebrating the life of an icon, Lata Mangeshkar. Thank you, Sunita, for giving us such a beautiful start. Seriously, a voice that gave solace to the distressed, soothed the depressed, put the infants to sleep, woke up a sleeping person, romanticized a lover, inspired a soldier, healed the sick, is now no more. But she has left behind a vast legacy, and that is the reason why we are all here together today. We are here together today to share her journey, her precious memories, her songs, each of the incidents that were so special to us. For some, it was an inspiration. I never ever met her. My bad. Totally unfortunate. But I feel that she left behind such a strong connect that all of us feel that at some stage. She had a song for every age, every emotion, every feeling. That is how we all see Lata Mangeshkar. So, Sunita, thank you so much for that beautiful one. And now join me in welcoming on stage our special guests for today. Let's first bring up on stage our very special guest, Usha Uthup. Good evening, Didi.
Right.
So just
Namaskar,
to say,
namaskaram. Sat Sri Akal, Salam Alaikum.
so just to say a small word about Usha Di, of course, none of our panelists today need an introduction. But all I want to say is that this Padma Shri awardee is known for a heavy, magical voice and her linguistic versatility. That is Usha Uthup. Next up, I have with us, wait, I have to toggle around as well. I have with us Atul Churamani. Good evening, Atul, and welcome to Showcase Studio. Atul, you're on mute.
Hi Nanni, hi Ushaji, hi Sunita. Pleasure to be here.
So, when it comes to Atul Churamani, I mean, he's a man, he's a veteran in the music industry, and there's just so many things he's done. But I'm just going to try and say whatever I can in one breath. And I will end up missing a lot of things, but let me try and say some things in
Be
one breath.
nice. Be nice.
I will try. Like I said, I will really try. Okay, here I go. From Sun Magazine to CBS to Magnasound, Virgin Records India, Saregama India Limited, and now MD Turnkey Music Publishing House. That is Atul Churamani. I managed decent amount. Of course, there's so much more to this man, which of course a lot of people know about. Our next guest up on stage is Narendra Kasanoor. Narendra Kasanoor is not a name or not a face that is new to Showcase Studio. However, I do have to say that he's in one of India's best known music journalists, and so to speak, he's born with a musical spoon. And the way I look at Naren is I call him the encyclopedia of music. So that is Naren Kasanoor.
Hello,
Rajdeep
everybody.
Sardis Siradeep Sardisai unfortunately has not been able to join us live, but he sent a beautiful message. So, for most of the people know Rajdeep, but I would still like to introduce him here. Siradeep Sardisai is one of India's very senior journalists. He's an anchor, he's an author, he's a consulting editor and anchor of India Today television. Because of the elections right now, he's going crazily hectic. Our very, very special guest today, because he's a very, very talented young man, is where is he? He's right here. Is Debabrata Pal. Debabrata Pal is what you call a visual storyteller. He's a canvas dancer, as they say, and he collaborates with musicians and he live paints his interpretation of what he feels about their performance. So whether it's a conversation or it's a talking show, anything. So like we have doodlers, but this is way way beyond a doodling. So, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for being here today. Today's journey is very, very special. Today's show is very, very special. It's all about Lata Mangeshkar, an icon of our country, the Bharat Ratna, the Nightingale. And of course, I know everybody's talking about her, and there's lots being said about her. But let's go. Today's show, the flow is totally casual, please. So, whenever anybody can say something, please do come in with it. So, Ushadi, let's start with you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about? I mean, you've been in the industry for the longest time as an artist, as a singer. So, how did you see Lata Mangeshkar?
Well, it's very difficult to talk about her, and yet it is so easy because the volume of work, the sheer volume of work that she's left behind, as you said, the legacy that she's left behind is just unbelievable. Yeah. And it's really crazy. I feel that I know somewhere in your mind you're planning to ask this question, but or say talk about it. But I think it's the most amazing thing because we all come from a time when there was no electronic media at all. So we really, most of us, I mean, though I'm much, much junior to Lataji Mangeshkar, the only thing I knew about her in the beginning of my childhood was that I felt that it was Nina Kumari. I thought it was Madhubala. Then I thought it was Vaijayanti Mala. I thought it was Nargis. I thought about everybody else except Lataji Mangeshkar because I'd never seen her. And she truly was the voice of all these faces, and through the years of so many other faces as well. Hema Malini, Wahida Rahman, Sharmila Tagore, you name it, everybody. So it's been a fantastic journey for her. It's been a fantastic journey for everybody who's been connected with her. And yes, the thing that I wanted to say definitely is the fact that eh, she has some amazing, amazing songs which make us all feel happy. It's been so long since I held you in my arms. Then you walked away, took a piece of me. 'Cause now you're back, got me missing what we had. Baby, can't you say I just wanna be with you? बिंदिया चमकेगी चूड़ी खनकेगी बिंदिया चमकेगी चूड़ी खनकेगी मेरी नींद उड़े थे उड़े जाए कजरा बहकेगा गजरा महकेगा कजरा बहकेगा गजरा महकेगा मोए रुस जाए थे रुस जाए बिंदिया चमकेगी चूड़ी खनकेगी. Yes, actually, आज बिंदिया चमकेगी या नहीं मुझे पता नहीं. यानी लोग, what people say, I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, Bindya will always chamko from wherever she is in the sky. And we all know that because of her Bindya, my Bindya is chamkoing. And I can tell you that it's really just so fantastic because Bindya Chamkegi is for me a real big milestone because I had the privilege of singing for her 75th birthday. And when I sang this song, after I finished singing, she was absolutely so happy. I ran down the stage to go and touch her feet and get her blessings. And I asked her, "Did you like it?" You know me, I always ask, "Maine acha gaya, how do you like my sari?" Oh, by the way, how do you like my sari? Good. Okay. So I asked her, I said, Aapko pasand aayi? She said, बहुत पसंद आया. And all the singers of India were singing on that stage. And there I was singing Ajib Dasta and Vindhya Chamkegi. And asked her, how did I sing? And you know something? She was so happy, so happy. She had come halfway down to meet me as well as I ran to meet her. And she said she's never heard a version of Bindya Chamkegi or Ajib Dasta the way I sang it. And she said, पता है, आजकल सब लोग आजकल नहीं इतने सालों से सभी लोग they all try to sing like her. You see, she said everybody tries to sing like me. And it's really crazy because there's not a single show that is there without especially all the reality shows where a young girl or an elderly girl, whoever it is, somebody who has to sing in a competition must sing a Lata Mangeshkar song. No matter from where, from what, doesn't matter. Whether it's in Kerala, whether it's in Bengal, whether it's in Timbuktu, they have to sing a Lata Mangeshkar song to prove that, okay, they're good. It's the benchmark kind of thing. And
For good
so
quality of singing. That's true.
it's the benchmark. I don't know about quality or anything like that, but definitely it was a benchmark. I mean, there is no reality show where you don't have a Lata Mangeshkar special or a girl who isn't trying to sing Na Jeo Na or Lag Ja Gale or whatever song it is. And so I feel that her work, that I don't believe in numbers actually. And so I'm uh, these numbers, they, they just, I'm just in awe of her. So many people have asked me whether she inspired me. The thing is, she couldn't inspire me in that way because I am in total awe of her. I mean,
Hmm.
I've always been in awe of her and admiration and so much of respect that two genres totally apart, poles apart. I mean, the kind of singing that I do, I don't, in another 10 janams, I'll never be able to sing like Lata Mangeshkar. It's impossible for me to sing like her. And, but then I can only sing the way I can sing. And so, as I've always said, a song is much bigger than the singer. And though she's not with us anymore, I mean, her work will always live on. And that's
True.
why I say a song is much bigger than the singer. There are millions and thousands of singers who are going to be singing her songs. And the wonderful thing is, which of course, which she told me, and which I liked so much and appreciated so much, she said, "You didn't sing, you didn't try to copy me. You just sang
Hmm.
originally the way you do." Okay. And I told her that just like I Will Survive, I have turned Bindya Chamkegi into a woman's song totally. And the line which says everywhere, that maine tujhse mohabbat ki hai. She told me she loved the part where I said, maine tujhse mohabbat ki hai, gulami nahi ki balma. And it's so relevant today. Okay, so whenever, like, I Will Survive is every girl's breakup song. Okay, but Bindya Chamkegi, I feel, is every girl's song of empowerment, which says, and I changed the words in the antara, which says, "Gulami nahi ki pilma, लाख मना कर ले दुनिया सब कहते हैं मेरी घुंघरू. I'm gonna dance all night, babe. I'm gonna sing all night. I'm gonna dance all night, babe. Gonna sing all night. My Rusajai." So she really, really appreciated that. And I think for everybody in the world, it's important to know that just being typecast is not enough, because the original
Yeah.
will always be the original and you will always be
Absolutely.
a, a clone or whatever, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, because I mean there are some wonderful, wonderful singers who sing marvelously. But why, the quantity of work that she has left behind has
Yeah.
given so many singers. And as I always say, that so many musicians and so many singers, so many technicians, everybody's getting their roti, kapda, makan because of the songs that she's left behind. I mean, the
This
shows
is
will
true.
always carry on, music will always carry on. And so when I say that I don't believe in numbers, I don't believe in this thing of being number one or but for us, she was always the face of so many, many, many million artists. Okay. Oh, and so for me, it was never a question of numbers, because then what would we say about Frank Sinatra, who sang only 300 songs? Okay. Or Elvis Presley, who sang only so few songs. In the West, it's a totally different thing. Okay. But over here, I mean, as far as Indian music or Indian Bollywood music or Indian film industry is concerned, crores of people in our country, but there were only 6, 7 singers. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And how
You
she
know, out
will
of the
say,
singers of the century, like, I mean, you see, it's always said, like, there's always one. I mean, she's probably the singer of the century, or probably like once in a lifetime. And we are just fortunate that we've been born in that era when we've experienced, we have watched her live, we have seen her. And Usha Di, this is fantastic. Like, I mean, you are like, you
no,
have
and what
so
I'm
much
saying is,
about her.
there will be always, I mean, today, of course, we are talking and celebrating her life. But what I definitely would like to say, and I'm sure people like Narendra and Atul will also, and you will also agree with me, that there are moments when we have to really think. I mean, she was just born at the right time, at such a fantastic time. Because if they were all, I mean, that whole gang was born now, they would really have to work that much harder. Because today's kids are so fantastically tayyar. Their voices they're all trained and they all sing well. Whether you talk of Hariharan or Shankar Mahadevan or Shreya Ghoshal or Sunidhi Chauhan, or so many fantastic singers, okay, Arijit, everybody. So, my point is that she was lucky to be born at that time. where she was the only one who could fit in for all the artists that I've already
And
named.
how
So
many over
yes,
the
and so
ages?
you would, and also another thing is, so you would ask whether the lyricist made her popular, or the music director made her popular, or was it the film star that made her popular? Or was it vice versa? Like people ask about Rajesh Khanna and Kishore Kumar. And that will always be a question in everybody's mind. In everybody's mind. You know, there were songs like, say, for example, I know for sure because I know many of my school friends were very inspired by one of the songs which was Pyar Kiya To Darna Kya. You
Then
know, where like, oh yeah, Pyar Kiya To Darna Kya, Pyar Kiya To Chori Nahi Ki. And you know, everybody had this romantic feeling of rebellion listening to that particular song. Now, what I would like to say with this is that she was lucky at the time when she was born. She was lucky to get the best artists, because when I think I said this to Atul as well, that when people say there were many music companies who said to me many times that, oh, you know, they didn't need any videos to sell their songs, but I said, hey, India is our film industry is the industry that invented the music video. If you take a film which has 11 songs, it has 11 music videos with the best faces and the top actors, right? I mean, we have to face it like Ganga Jamna, or say, yeah, Pakiza, whichever film you take, Madhumati. You know, each song is a music video, so that's what sold. And there was no question of having it being seen on television. Now, of course, everything is in your bedroom, so you know everybody knows about these songs. And thank God. So she was actually born at the most amazing time, and then she held power. I mean, you know, the power that she had.
which is
Such a
true, which is
diminutive
true.
lady.
And
What
and
a
she
lady.
ruled. Yeah, and she ruled
Sorry?
the industry. She ruled the industry for the longest time.
Completely.
And now
Completely.
we'll bring in Atul into this conversation now, because Atul too, being a veteran in the industry, and he had a professional relationship with her. And so, Atul, let's hear from you about your experience with Lataji.
But Ushadi, when you mentioned about, you said we are lucky to have been born in a certain era, and Ushadi mentioned about Lataji being born in a certain era. I feel very blessed that
Yeah,
I'm in an industry where I can be in the same room as someone as legendary as Lata Mangeshkar. We have a
absolutely.
business relationship, so our conversations are different from when they meet people like Ushadi and Sunita and Naren, because it's a different kind of conversation. When they meet us, it's a completely different conversation. And what can one say? When you were in the room with Lataji, she was so warm, she was so gracious, she was wonderful, and yet you always remembered that you were in the presence of greatness. You never abused her warmth. You automatically became very respectful. I have a habit of being slightly disrespectful with people, as Ushadi will know. But with Lataji, I could never try it. But so I'll tell you a little anecdote about how I kind of met her and our first conversation, which was very interesting. We were having a function at the Oberoi. Sarigama was having a function at the Oberoi where um, Mr. R.P. Goenka, his wife, who were like family to Lataji, Harsh Goenka and his wife were there. And there was, it was a press thing and a lot of talking and interviews and stuff like that. And I'd never met Lataji, so that was the first time I actually saw her. And for whatever reason, at the end of the evening, I was asked to say a few words. And I had a colleague called Yojana Patil who used to deal with Lataji. She'd been in HMV forever. Um, and later, Yojana told me, Lataji asked her, "Who's that?" So she said, "He's my boss." She said, "I've never met him. Can you come over?" So Yojana said, Lataji wants to meet us. And I was, the thing was that I had a beard. I'd grown a beard at the time. So when we had this press conference, I was sporting a beard, which made me look even handsomer than I am now, which is a bit difficult. But Yeah.
Can we
Um,
visualize? I wish we had that filter
Absolutely.
here now to visualize.
So, anyway, we were supposed to go over a few days later, and I shaved my beard. So we walk into Prabhu Kunj, and Yojana's in front of me. And Lataji is sitting there, and she smiles at her, welcomes Yojana, and says, "What happened? Your boss didn't come?" So Yojana just moved slightly to the side and did that. She looked at me and she burst out. She went into peals of laughter and she couldn't stop apologizing. She said, "I'm so sorry, I didn't recognize you." So that sort of broke the ice. And I said, "Don't worry, even my mother doesn't recognize you when I shave my beard." So, it was a wonderful start to a relationship. And then, of course, we did meet up when on her 80th birthday, we released an 8 CD compilation, 80 songs we released uh, at the office. She'd come over, and one thing I found about her was that she was very curious. So at the time, the digital business had started. So a lot of the time when we were sitting in the office, she was asking me about the digital business. And in those days, there were ringback tones, downloads had just started, and she was just curious. A very childlike curiosity, but such a wonderful, wonderful person. And I feel very blessed to have been, like I said, in the room with her. And unfortunately, I met her very late in her career, so she really wasn't singing much at the time. But it was always a pleasure to chat with her.
Yeah, so these are very special memories, special moments, and this is what actually will always stay with you, Atul. There's no question about it. And while you were speaking, I mean, one could visualize the entire thing of, how she must have been, because her biggest thing was that she used to love to laugh. And I was reading up somewhere that one of her major things with Kishore Da was because she says he's very clever. He cracks jokes, he makes me laugh, and then he says, अब recording के लिए चलते हैं. And she's saying, अब मेरी आवाज कहाँ से निकलेगी after I have laughed so much. So very fascinating
But I
stories that
must
I
tell
read
you,
up.
but I must tell you also, Nani, that she had a wicked sense of humor. She had a really wonderful sense of humor. She could crack a joke like that. But I think she was very wary about doing it in public. So if you were a couple of you in the room, then you got it.
Yeah, it's very interesting actually. The kind of, and everywhere, every little thing that I read up about her said that she used to love to laugh, and she felt, and that's why if you notice her face also, whether it's any photographs anywhere, it was a very smiley, happy face always, like right till the end. I mean, it's a very happy face. So now from this conversation, as we also figured, which both of you told us, that Lata Devi was also, well, I won't say multilingual to that extent, but she did sing in many languages, right? Sunita, maybe you can throw light on that for us.
Well, to even say anything about Lata ji is সাহসী নেই হতি একদম খা নাথাকে in Assamese খা কৰিবই নোৱাৰো সাহস নাই but we in Assam as young musicians were exposed to a lot of her Assamese songs also, which she had sung, and some for Bhupenda, a Bharat Ratna singing for another Bharat Ratna. And there is this amazing, delicate song that she sang about a village and about how beautiful Assam is. Can I have
It's
the
an
CD?
Assamese. It's an Assamese.
It's an Assamese song. It's from the famous, iconic film Erabator Kur. Kur meaning sur. And
So,
sur, yeah. And the name of the song is Junakore Rati. On the moonlit night, how beautiful my little Assam looks like, especially the hamlet and my little village, where the stars seem they are dancing on the pond. And the flow of the song is Bhupenda's unpredictable flow. And Lataji, the essence she gave to the song as a young girl, I was completely mesmerized. I'm not a singer, Ushaji, but if I don't sing out these songs in these lyrics, I won't be able to, you know.
no, no, of
No, no, of
course.
course.
As I always say,
Junakore rati, ahomire mati. Jiliki pore moloyare sati duhate khabuti dhuniya maloti pore ei khande কে দেখি এন্ধার বুরে আমার গাঁৱে রে আমারে দেহর বুটি খুটি the weaves of our lovely Assam বাধা দিব কোনে পারে who can resist the lovely patterns আগলতি কলা পাত লরে সরে মনরে পক্ষী মুরুরে উরে মুনসি ফুঙর আরে আরে ও
Now from me, I was just doing the settings. This was beautiful, Sunita. So this has actually been sung by Lata Didi.
yes
Oh, lovely. That's
Lovely.
amazing.
Very,
Yeah,
very,
it's
very
beautiful.
pretty.
What
Very
about
pretty.
you?
Yeah, so can see the inspiration. Can see how much you were inspired with this. It's beautiful. So now let's move on to Naren. Naren, coming from the world of music journalism, you've had some very close conversations with Lata Didi and with many others, of course. So tell us about her. Like, give us whatever. I mean, what are your thoughts on Lata Didi? And considering that, we've been reading up so many articles, you yourself have written 5 articles, and every article is different from the other. We've got so much in journalism about her, and everything is so different. Look at the kind of rich reservoir of content that she's left behind.
Okay, hello everybody. And Yeah, I mean, there were two things. Like, I mean, when I look back, one was me being a fan, and the other me being a journalist who suddenly, at the age of 24, 25, was assigned to cover a Lata Didi concert. And
Hmm.
I was totally in awe with her. Like, for many years, I didn't even want to interview her because I did not have the face to sort of go,
Correct.
and, like I said, who am I to ask anything and all that? Like, and it's happened with very few musicians, but she was one of them. And I would avoid, if somebody else got it, well and good. Like, you journalists, we journalists are very competitive normally. We don't want others to get the interview. But in this case, I would be happy कि किसी और ने किया. Like, it was that kind of a awe. And
Yeah,
but
I can
how long?
imagine.
Yeah. And how long can one do that? Obviously, it's your job, and like somewhere down the line, your boss tells you that if you don't get the interview by so and so date, then you had it. So that was the initial part, and then the other part was the research, because our growing up on those songs was completely different. We heard them on the radio and all that. At the age of 15 or 18 and all, to hear old songs, we never imagined कि इसका music director कौन होगा and all that thing. So now suddenly you are expected to write on these things. So I would go to Rhythm House and look at all the cassettes
Yeah.
and take down notes from there, because there was no net those days. So there was no Google to suddenly go and discover and all that. So those kind of things we did before an interview to these artists. So finally, I managed to get this thing, and I tried to get an interview, and the moment this was in 1997, it was 50 years of independence, and we had a special. So she had to speak about music in those 50 years. And when her the nephew Adinath, he said that she can speak on the phone. Yeah, there's no need to come here. In a way, I received a sigh of relief. Even at least I don't have to face at on the phone. I can manage. So that was the first long conversation I had with her, and she seemed very nice and all that. But later on, a couple of other times when I went, once I met her at the Taj, she had come for a function, and I knew she was coming. So I'd carried an autograph, her biography by Harish Vemani, to be autographed, and a couple of cassettes those days. And I didn't want to tell her who I am and all that. I just got it silently autographed and went. Later on, one day when there's this album that was released in 2001 by Saregama, Meera Sur Kabira. That was when I got a chance to do a very exhaustive interview and
Oh,
all that. And like person from the company, she had said that ask her only about the album, don't ask her about anything. So I told her that like, I'm supposed to speak only on the album. She said, look, they're doing their job, you do yours, I'll do mine, ask me anything. I'll tell you. So that was a warmth. And later on, yes, a couple of times and all that. So there was this thing about Lata ji, which we always admired. And like being a journalist, one always kept in track with what she was doing, and the past also. One started reading more and hearing more songs and all that. So within a few years, like one was quite familiar with who had composed what, who had written what song and all that. So one knew certain incidents, some anecdotes and all, which came in. Whenever we wrote something, we used to think of those anecdotes. The other thing that newspapers, they usually wanted to know was about her hobbies, and everybody knew about her love for cricket, and also photography and cars and jewelry and things like that. But cricket was something, because it was a craze in India. Like the sports editor or the main editor would always tell us, whenever you speak to Lata Ji, ask her something about the recent match. Now I myself didn't know what happened in the latest match, so I had to find out and then ask her, and then she would give some accurate information and all that. And these people would be happy, carry one small item that Lata Ji spelled this about. She was very fond of early Salim Durrani, then Sunil Gavaskar, later on Sachin Tendulkar, of course. So that was the thing. So this was my association as a journalist with Lata Ji.
No, this is very
There's so much
interesting.
more one can write, actually. Like you mentioned that there
Actually,
are topics and all. I mean, I've written quite a bit, but there's some, they can do an article on her non-film music, for instance. That will become a completely different article. Her devotional music, that will become a different. Her association with different music directors. It's like endless. Like there's so much of, as Usha ji said, the kind of legacy she's left behind, and the catalog, the number of songs she's.
Volume, my God. The
huge.
volume
So,
of work is quite unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So before I actually bring in Rajdeep, because he spoke about Lata ji's passion for cricket, Atul, I want to share one more very interesting thing which I read up was that for 4 months, why I said Atul is because of royalties and copyrights, and you're the go-to person to understand everything. Uh, for 4 months, she didn't speak to Rafi Saab. Guess why? Over some royalties issue. She refused to sing with him. She refused to talk to him for 4 months, apparently. And that was very interesting because 4 months is a long duration, especially when you're meeting up with somebody every day and you're singing together and stuff like that. So, I mean, lots of these kind of stories that are there.
So one thing that is not well, it's not documented probably for a reason, is that Lata ji's contribution to artists getting royalties was immense. You see,
Nice.
because what used to happen in the old days was the music director, under the instructions of the film producers, used to get them to record the songs, and they used to be paid a fee, and that was it, right? And then the labels would take over the rights and start selling the LPs in those days, and then of course later cassettes and CDs. And Lata ji was the one who said that, listen, we should get a royalty. It's only fair that we get a royalty on sales. So in those days, what happened was, even for music that had already come to the company from the film producer, the producers gave a letter saying that we will pay a portion, please pay a portion of our royalties to the singers. And
Okay.
everyone joined in on that. Kishore da, all the others except Ravi Saab. So Rafi Saab said, no, I'm happy. I'm getting my money from the music directors. I'm being paid, so I don't want any royalties. So that was really what it was all about. And later, I think then Rafi Saab also started getting his royalties. So it was a big thing. And even when they wanted to set up a singers association, I remember way back in the 90s, she was very supportive. So she had this thing about fairness to the
The
artistic
singers.
community. Yes. So she played a very vital role in that.
Very interesting because I was reading about this and I said it's pretty it's quite fascinating to see her contribution into this entire thing. So now coming back to her passion for cricket, so Rajdeep Sardesai has been caught up with the elections, and so he was at the airport and he's saying, but I definitely and want to be part of this show today because it is very very special. So he sent us a recorded video which I'd definitely like to play for all of us here.
Hi, folks. My memory of Lata Mangeshkar is actually in a strange way associated with cricket because my late father, Dilip Sardisai, Test cricketer, was very well known to Lata Mangeshkar's family. They lived very close by. My father in Chowpatty and Lata Di and her family in Nana Chowk, all of it in central Mumbai. And they would actually play cricket. Hridaynath Mangeshkar, my father, cousins in that area, in the neighborhood. And Lata Di was a complete cricket fan, and when I say fan, she was a knowledgeable cricket fan. She could tell you the difference between a late cut and a square cut. She could tell you statistics. And I recall that when Sachin Tendulkar was retiring, Lata Mangeshkar agreed to do an interview with me. And she said that whenever she saw Sachin bat, she would stop doing everything, including singing. She said she just loved Sachin's batting. And then she described his batting, his shot making. So she was someone who understood the game, who reveled in watching cricket, and perhaps almost enjoyed cricket as much as she did music. True cricket fan, Lata Mangeshkar. And she even had a house, I think, overlooking Lords, where she would go in the summers and watch cricket games. Her great companion for many years was Raj Singh Dungarpur, former BCCI president. So maybe that's where she learnt the finer points of the game. But either way, remember Lata Mangeshkar not just as a remarkable singer, but also as someone who enjoyed the other great Indian passion, cricket. My Shraddhanjali to Lata Di.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. My bad. I ended up clicking again. So that's what he said. I mean, he said it was so special to her, and he's saying I have to talk about her passion for cricket and how closely associated it was with their family, etc. And so now coming back to before we bring Deb to tell us what he's created. Sunita, I'm going to be a little greedy and ask you. We were talking about Bhupenda, right? And so there was this beautiful melody with the song. So it's like one Bharat Ratna doing it for the other Bharat Ratna, like we spoke about at the beginning, right? So I'm going to be greedy and ask you to play a little bit of that for us, please.
Well, the partnership between Lata Di, Bhupenda, and a very, very important person, whom, of course, Atul and I both know closely, Kalpana. And, how she created that movie, Rudali, and how Lataji gave life to. And Rudali had different kinds of songs. It had Dil Hum Hum Kare, which was a translation from Assamese Buku Hum Hum Kare. And then it had Jhuti Moti Mituwa Avan Bole, a completely classical Brindavani Sarang based song. And the little anecdote that Kalpana shared was that when the song was being translated, and Dil Hum Hum Kare, Buku Hum Hum Kare was the Assamese song. Buku Hum Hum Kare Murai Kule Nitra Hare Murai. So that was the Assamese song. Hence the translation would be Dil Dhak Dhak Kare. But Gulzar Sahab, it seems, said that Dhak Dhak mein gaane ka maza nahi aa raha hai, Bhupen. So we will keep it as Dil Hum Hum Kare. And because Lataji also sang Dil Hum Hum Kare, it kind of blended so well with her voice. And hence the song Dil Hum Hum Kare.
Sunita, before you start, just want to add to that.
One second. It echoes on. Let me just correct the echo. Then you. Yeah. Now it's.
So Bhupenda told me that when he did the song, when he composed the song, the idea was for Lataji to sing it. She came in, she did her rendition, and he had obviously demonstrated the song to her, what the song was about, how to sing it. And she turned around to him and said, "It sounds much better in your voice." And she was the one who insisted that he record the song in his voice. I don't think it was in the script, but Lataji insisted that Bhupenda sing the song.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So wait, I'm going to just turn off the echo cancellation now.
Thank you. Thank you. Ah,
Now we can speak. I've just quickly closed the edit. So this was beautiful, Sunita. Thank you so much. Thank you. So now we bring Deb now onto the screen because we are all very curious to see Deb what you have created. आपने क्या बनाया है और आपको क्या अब्जॉर्ब हुआ आज शाम की और जितनी भी अभी तक की बातें हुई हैं और आप क्या बताना चाहेंगे उसके बारे में और आपने क्या क्रिएट किया है आप अपने आर्टवर्क के बारे में बताइए सबको प्लीज.
बेसिकली मैं दिखाना चाहता हूँ दिस आई
मैं
मेड.
आपको फुल स्क्रीन पे करती हूँ ताकि हम ज्यादा अच्छी तरह देख पाएंगे. जी बताइए.
हाँ, तो मैंने यहाँ पे पूरा जो है जो डिस्कशन हमारा हुआ लता जी के बारे में और जैसे उषा जी और सुनीता जी एवरीवन मीन्स जैसे बोले और उनका म्यूजिक का जो था वो सबको मैंने कंप्लीटली एक कैनवस के ऊपर मतलब डाला है. आप देख सकते हैं कि लता जी का जो बिंदी है इट्स लाइक उषा जी के बिंदी के जैसा मैंने बनाया है बिकॉज़ आज जो लता जी हैं वो सुनीता जी और उषा जी के दोनों का कनेक्शन है उन्हीं के साथ. जैसे उनका कानों का मैंने इयररिंग्स जो है वो भावलिन दिया है और बिंदी जो है उषा जी का दिया है. सो फ्रॉम देयर एंड जैसे उनको क्रिकेट में ज़्यादा रुचि था तो आई पुटेड सम बॉल सिल्वर ओवर देयर and this concept is about we are thinking she is द अवतारम ऑफ गॉडेस सरस्वती जी का वो अवतार हैं. सो मैंने उनको उन्हीं के एक स्वरूप में रिप्रेजेंट किया है. सो जो हमारा ये जो इवनिंग है ये हमारा मतलब इसीलिए मैंने येलो कलर का कैनवस लेके उसमें कंप्लीटली उसको थीम को कलर कॉम्बिनेशन में पोर्ट्रेट किया है. अगर हम पेंटिंग का बात करेंगे इट कैन बी अ पोर्ट्रेट और समथिंग बट दिस इज गाइडेंस अंडर द उपनिषद एंड द शास्त्रस. कि शास्त्रस में हमारा जो वर्डिंग है वॉइस है जैसे उषा जी का पर्सनालिटी के हिसाब से उनका कलर अलग है उनका वॉइस का कलर अलग है वाइब्रेशन अलग है. जब टोन लो से हाई जाता है तो कलर का पिगमेंटेशन कैसे बढ़ता है. जैसे सुनीता मैम अभी भावलिन बजाए तो उनका बीच में जो मतलब मॉड्यूलेशन बहुत ऊपर तक गया तो उस टाइम में जैसे डार्केस्ट होते गया कलर का कॉम्बिनेशन. सो दिस इज एवरीथिंग इंक्लूडेड फ्रॉम द शास्त्र. सो इसको हम मतलब राग चित्र बोलते हैं या विजुअल स्टोरी टेलिंग बोलते हैं. कहीं कहीं पे नृत्य के साथ डांस करते करते इसको बनाते हैं. कहीं कहीं पे म्यूजिशियन जब बजाते हैं या गाते हैं उन्हीं का कलर कॉस्ट्यूम एवरीथिंग एनवायरमेंट सभी को लेकर ये बनाया जाता है. सो दिस इज माई स्मॉल मीन्स रिप्रेजेंटेशन डेडिकेशन टू लता जी. मैंने अभी उनका अंतिम संस्कार में ज्वाइन किया था. तो मुझे बहुत बुरा लगा. मैंने उनको लास्ट टाइम देखा मतलब तो मेरे अंदर उनके लिए जो फीलिंग है, सो उसको और सबका फीलिंग को एकत्रित करके, जड़ित करके, और सबका मतलब उषा जी, सुनीता मैम का वॉइस को जड़ित करके ये कंप्लीटली डेडिकेशन मैंने दिया है। सो होप सबको मेरा ये प्रस्तुति अच्छा लगे, और ये
बहुत खूब,
कम से कम आधा घंटे में ही ये पूरा कंप्लीट हुआ है। सो आई
बहुत
फील
खूबसूरत देव,
गिवन।
बहुत
थैंक यू।
खूबसूरत। सिर्फ हम लोग को थोड़ा जेलसी हो रहा है कि कब से मैं बोल रही हूँ, नरेन बोले, अतुल बोले, राजदीप बोले, हम लोग का तो कुछ है ही नहीं। वेरी बैड, ऐसे थोड़ी ना।
Oh.
अब अभी हम लोग रो भी
ऐसा नहीं
सकते हैं
है
इसके
इधर,
ऊपर।
एवरीवन का जो वाइब्रेशन है, मतलब इट्स अबाउट वन काइंड ऑफ, मतलब अगर आप उपनिषद पढ़ेंगे, उपनिषद में कलर का जो राग का संधि हुआ था पहले, इट्स फ्रॉम द यजुर्वेद, उससे ही संगीत रत्नाकर एंड सो मेनी थिंग्स गोज ऑन, उसी से ही ये पहले कलर से ही डिराइव हुआ था। जैसे अत्रि ऋषि के वाइफ लोपामुद्रा ने, शी स्टार्टेड टू इम्प्लीमेंट द कलरिंग, और जिधर से रागा वो एनिमल से लिए, उधर से वो कलर का
ट्रू ट्रू।
पिगमेंटेशन लिए। इसीलिए सरस्वती को हम मतलब कला और संस्कृति के देवी मानते हैं। सो
नहीं नहीं,
शी
बिल्कुल
इज
सही।
ओनली अबाउट दिस। सो
म्यूजिक।
थैंक यू सो
Fantastic.
मच।
बहुत
Sorry.
खूबसूरत। सॉरी, मैं तो सिर्फ छेड़ रही थी आपको। और गुड थिंग इज कि आप छिड़ गए, सबसे अच्छी
Usha,
बात तो ये है।
Usha, you were saying
Nay,
something.
but you know something which is absolutely marvelous. I'm not sure. I'm sure many of you heard it on, excuse me, on television that day. अ, अजीब सी बात है कि हमारे कलकत्ता में, एक्चुअली बंगाल में, सिक्स्थ वाज, I mean, fifth was Saraswati Puja.
सरस्वती पूजा।
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like she stayed for that, and the day that Visarjan happened, she passed away. Yeah, so it was quite crazy actually, the way it happened. And, as I said, I've already said that 100 times. I'm completely in awe of her, actually. And for me, it meant such a lot that, you know, I think people like Atul said, or even Naren said, that the beginning you're scared, because it's so vast, it's so big, it's so everything, and she is just the opposite. Like she's so small, she's so petite. She's got lovely feet, which I saw when she was at the Metro shoe shop, and I was there many, many moons
वाह,
ago. And she was trying on her chappals. She had on a gold pile with the diamond jhumar on it, but lovely feet, beautiful fingers, and so petite, but you could never imagine the kind of power that it all wielded. So people were definitely scared to approach. I think because the whole persona was so massive. So then it makes you wonder, because I never felt that way with her. I never felt that way. Maybe because I mean, I respected her such a lot and admired her such a lot that I felt I just had to speak to her. So, before, of course, I know her since Hare Rama, Hare Krishna days, which was 1969, which makes it almost 52, 53 years that I've
वाह।
known her. And the times when I did speak to her, uh, I remember every time that I was working at either the Oberoi and doing a show there, or I was doing something, in Kolaba, whatever, the Taj. Then I would always pass by Prabhu Kunj and, on Pedder Road. Before reaching Pedder Road, I would, from Haji Ali, I would take up this is the time after the advent of the mobile phones. I would, start dialing her number, and before Haji Ali itself. And by the time we reached Prabhu Kunj, I would always say,
अच्छा।
"Hi, Didi," and she would say, "Hello, Usha," and I would ask her, "आपने पहचान लिया?" So she said, "इतनी भारी आवाज किसकी हो सकती है?" And she this was I mean, I don't, when I say this, I don't mean to bring in any comparison or anything, but it's like Mother Teresa. Okay, so small, so tiny, and the kind of power, oh my goodness, what kind of power is that? And I mean, different kinds of power, of course. We're not talking, I'm not comparing or contrasting in any way. I'm just
Yeah.
talking of their bodies, the persona. And then when every time she would say the same dialogue and I would ask her the same thing. Kaise aapne pehchana? Like Mother Teresa. Every time you met her, whether somebody died on the road or whether she prayed for somebody, she said, so beautiful. Everything was beautiful for her. Meeting with Mother was, I mean, we have to have another three,
Yeah,
10 shows.
yeah. We
That's
can
a, that's
we
not what
can
I'm
talk
saying.
about this. Yeah,
Yeah, what
yeah.
I'm saying is that it was the whole thing. And every time I felt that I asked her this question, "Apne kaise pehchana?" and that the answer would come out. And it was almost, I mean, I like to believe that she loved my voice. I like to believe that. Because
Which is
she
fair.
always she always mentioned it, and she always said that इतनी different, इतनी अलग है, एकदम हटके है आवाज, तो मैं तो पहचानूंगी. So this was one thing which I loved about our relationship, was that I felt that she liked me, or she loved me, or she loved my voice. And so when
There you are.
had a small we had a small competition in Kolkata. It was called Dada Na Didi, and it was a competition, a reality show. And
Ah,
I was the leader of one team of the Didis, and we had Antara, that is Salilda's daughter, also in my team, and some other wonderful singers. One of the singers was singing "Ae Mere Watan Ke Logo" on one of the shows. So they said, "Aha, Lata Mangeshkar moto amra gaibo na, she gaite parbo na." She would, she was so scared, Dola. So I said, "Don't worry. You want some real good Ashirwad? Let's phone her up." And I phoned up Lata Didi. And I told her the whole story. And she said, हाँ मैं जरूर आशीर्वाद दूंगी. And she said, Dola कहाँ पे है आप? You should have seen Dola. Like she was finished. And Lata Ji Mangeshkar talking to her.
obviously,
In her whole life, she would
obviously.
never have imagined that. And you know what?
That's
I
ultimate.
put the thing on speakerphone, and I told her, I said, Didi, अगर आप एक लाइन गा दीजिए, हमारी पूरी टीम इतने खुश हो जाएगी. And she sang "Ae Mere Watan Ke
Wow.
Logo" on the
Wow,
phone. Yeah,
wow.
it was something else,
I'm
whether
getting
you,
goosebumps just listening to this.
yeah,
Seriously, I can
it was really
imagine the feeling.
fantastic, really
Yeah,
amazing,
can
really.
imagine the feeling.
For me, that was enough. I mean, I'm, as I said, you, what is the inspiration then? I mean, what are you getting inspired by? That's why when I say to people, I mean, I don't uh, say it, yeah, I don't, because I don't want to be misunderstood, because our genres, as I already said, my voice and my kind of singing and everything is so different. But who I got inspired by, the only one human being besides the radio, that inspired me to do everything, the one person I've always been inspired by is Harry Belafonte, because of the same genre, it's the same connect that we have, with the audience. And for me, music is not my business, communication is. So between Lata Didi and myself, the thing that was so great was the awe. I said, what?
Hmm.
30,000? Is this a joke or what? I mean, how can you sing for so many people? And how can you sing so many songs? I mean, what is it? And there were days when she was singing, she was doing 4 shifts and she was doing 4 songs a day. You know, that's really
That's a
crazy.
lot. Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a
Yeah,
lot of power going into your
yeah,
handbag. You know,
sure.
no, no, I don't mean just the money. I'm
True.
saying
No,
it's
no,
a lot
no.
of
I
power
know.
going into your handbag. Which
Yeah, true.
handbag held the misery, which she gave me after my show. And I told her, Didi, give me something from your bag that will make me
Hmm.
sing well. And she said, मैं तो मिश्री खाती हूँ.
How
And I said,
sweet.
okay, वो दे दीजिए.
वो दे
So she
दीजिए.
gave me a packet which she had in her purse. She gave me the packet of misery, and I said, "Oh, ये तो हम एक हफ्ते में खत्म हो जाएगी." She said, "Don't worry, हम भेज देंगे आपको." And in 1 week, there was a kilo of misery which she sent to me to Calcutta.
See, now
Of
that is
course,
precious.
yeah, that's special, but it's gone. It's gone long time back, because this I'm talking about after her 75th birthday.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
gone, and she's gone too, but
yeah.
her work
Absolutely.
will
But Usha
remain.
ji, Yes, and her voice will always be. I mean, like I
Her
said right at
songs
the
will
beginning.
always remain forever and evermore. Amen.
Yeah, and absolutely, and like I said right at the beginning of the show, is that she's given a song for every moment, every mood, every emotion, and every generation, every age group.
So
So
isn't that so
everybody has
lucky to
something
be born at that time?
huge,
To
huge.
have, isn't that lucky to be born at that time, to be able to say, to get songs like that? I mean, who
Totally,
gets songs like
totally.
that? I mean, she
Nobody.
sang beautifully.
Totally.
That's another issue. But
Yeah.
how
Issue.
lucky?
No, that's true. So
Yeah,
Usha
how
Deep,
lucky
to
to get
to
so many
now,
wonderful songs like
absolutely. So I think the most fitting end to this evening is a song that you can dedicate to Lata Didi. That
every
would be the
song. I mean,
perfect end.
whatever I sing of hers, I dedicate to her always and sing it in my style. And
Yes,
because I can't sing
absolutely.
like her ever. I mean, and
Absolutely.
I've
So we are
always
going to,
told her,
yeah. So I'm going to now
gee,
take your
they,
full screen and I'm going to clear your echo settings so you can sing.
yeah. This is actually a nightclub song. And I used to tell her that. मैं तो आपके गाने नाइट क्लब में गाती हूँ. And she used to really be happy about that, especially this one. She never believed it. I mean, people wouldn't believe that I would have this song sung. But actually, if you listen to it, it is such a nightclub song. I used to sing it in every nightclub, whether it was at the Oberoi or at the Oberoi Intercontinental Shinua or Talk of the Town or Trinkas. अजीब दास्तां है ये, कहाँ शुरू कहाँ खत्म, ये मंजिलें हैं कौन सी, न वो समझ सके न हम. अजीब दास्तां है ये, कहाँ शुरू कहाँ खत्म, ये मंजिलें हैं कौन सी, न वो समझ सके न हम. And all the marvelous musicians, Sumit Ramchandran, Amol Roy, Nepal Shaw, Shubho, Shobhan Mukherjee, Devi Chatterjee. Thank you all. Raja. रोशनी के साथ क्यों धुआं उठा चिराग से, रोशनी के साथ क्यों धुआं उठा चिराग से, ये ख्वाब देखती हूँ मैं कि जग पड़ी हूँ ख्वाब से. अजीब दास्तां है ये, कहाँ शुरू कहाँ खत्म, ये मंजिलें हैं कौन सी, न वो समझ सके न हम. So Nandini, thank you so much for putting this fantastic show together. We'll be here. Thank you. मुबारक तुम्हें कि तुम किसी के नूर हो गए, मुबारक तुम्हें कि तुम किसी के नूर हो गए, किसी के इतने पास हो कि सबसे दूर हो गए. बताऊं ये मंजिलें हैं कौन सी न वो समझ सके न And when I told her that this is such a jealous song, huh? Such a jealous song, Mubarak तुम्हें कि तुम किसी के नूर हो गए, and the next verse which says किसी का प्यार लेके तुम, what are you doing, man? Come on. Such a jealous song. I love singing this for all the ladies who feel this way about their men. From Lata Didi and all the Didis here, from all the women to all the men. किसी का प्यार लेके तुम नया जहां बसाओगे, किसी का प्यार लेके तुम नया जहां बसाओगे, ये शाम जब भी आएगी तुम हमको याद आओगे. This story is so really strange. Can't see the end, don't know the start. You are my only destiny. You are a part of my heart. You are a part of this heart. Never समझ सके हम.
Wow.
Amazingly beautiful.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you. I know I sang it well also. Hannah, we all know when we do a good job. अच्छे से गाया ना मैंने?
बहुत सुंदर गाया, बहुत सुंदर गाया.
If Didi was here, she would have said, इतनी अलग आवाज है आपकी.
I don't know why somewhere I feel probably she is looking over this and she's
Of
probably
course.
saying that as well.
Of course,
This
every
is-
time I sing, even when she was alive, wherever I sang the song, I told my audience, Didi would have never imagined that this song could be sung like this, and such a jealous song right from the beginning. Such a
I
jealous
love
song.
the jealous bit.
Yeah,
I
it's so
love the
true.
jealous.
But I mean, that's what
It's
you
a
got to do
heartbreak
because
song. It's a heartbreak song.
it's
But
such a.
किसी
it's
का
so much.
प्यार लेके तुम नया जहां
I
बसाओगे.
know, what the hell, yeah? What the
Yeah.
hell?
But
That's
so
what I'm
much
saying. Even the
emotion.
earlier one, Narendra,
Okay, this
you've
is
got
a
so many
controversial
wonderful
subject now.
words for Wordle tomorrow. Jealousy, dreams,
But
कि
dreams,
ख्वाब
yeah, 5
देखती हूँ
letters.
मैं कि जग पड़ी हूँ ख्वाब से. I
नहीं,
mean,
ख्वाब
the
वर्डल पे
line
नहीं
which says,
आएगा.
yeah, मुबारकें, oh, that's so jealous. मुबारकें तुम्हें कि तुम किसी के नूर हो गए, किसी के इतने पास हो कि सबसे दूर हो गए. I can relate
Look
with
at
the
the
song all the
dissection
time.
of this.
Look at
I know,
Narendra
but look at
laughing.
the dissection of such a
Look at
beautiful
Atul.
song.
How can jealousy and envy or heartbreak be so beautifully worded together and beautifully composed? I mean,
What a
Absolutely.
song.
That's
What a
the
song.
point. What great lyrics. What great
yeah.
lyrics.
What
What
great
lyrics.
and lyrics,
What
and then
lyrics.
the melody, and then the feeling in the song. I mean, how with so much ease, everything, all the expressions, all the feelings, everything has been
Really.
emoted in her voice. It's beautiful.
Yeah, really
So,
amazing.
And I can see the
guys,
beautiful colors. Matlab, beyond imagination for this song.
You
It's
need to do one sketch of Usha Di now.
ha. Agla, we'll do a special show with just Usha Di, her singing, and Dave doing the visual
I completely agree.
storytelling.
dance.
Yes, my
Okay,
Lovely.
great honor. My great
The
honor.
song,
That'd
so
be
let's.
this is the
fantastic.
song from Usha ji, na? एक क्या तो नहीं होगा ना? It has to be
जी?
3 for tribute. Uneven, na, Usha ji?
What?
Uneven numbers for tribute. So one you have done, so we'll listen to the next one. It has to be 1 or 3, na? Tribute.
No, I did two. I did two already.
So now
The
third. That's
first
why
one
she's
is
saying
yes,
three. You have to do.
Well, I think this was a lovely song to end with. I think,
It was. It was
yeah,
beautiful. So,
but yeah, it's quite difficult to imagine that she isn't around. I mean,
no
not in
more.
Prabhupada anymore,
Yeah.
and with all the struggle that she may have had in her life, like any of us have. Yeah, I think it was finally, when you think about it, it's just it's just amazing the amount of work that she's left behind for everybody to sing and everybody to enjoy. But yeah, I don't know. That day I just felt so sad when I heard the song Rim Jim Gire Savan. You know, I was raining outside that day over here in Kolkata. And yeah, there are some songs which real big tear jerkers. Tear, Tear for jerkers. Real,
Gosh, everything is getting connected to the wordle right now. I
Well,
no,
hope the
real tear
audience knows that.
jerkers.
Please
Some of her
don't cheat over
songs,
here.
some of her songs were such tear jerkers, and most of them actually. But
That's true.
one of the songs that really, really, really made a mark on me was the song "Jab Pyar Kiya To Darna Kya."
Yeah.
It was a whole philosophy in that, and
Yeah.
so many of her songs. I mean, kudos to the persons who wrote it
Actually,
and
the
saw the
lyricists as
situation.
well. Very, very powerful lyrics we've got. So I think that's why even today we are hearing those songs. Look at the powerful melodies. We are still listening to them,
yeah.
and you
Yes,
can go on listening to them. So it's like,
yes.
so of
So
course, like
isn't
all
that
good
so
things.
lucky? So
Oh, it's
lucky, Lata Ji
excellently
Mangeshkar.
lucky,
Yeah,
brilliantly
really,
lucky.
so
So
lucky.
we've got some fantastic comments, which I'm not even going to over there because that's something everybody can go back on social media. Please respond because I'm sure those comments are for a lot of us. Before we end, I would definitely want to bring in Naina and Rajshri also on the screen with us because both these girls have been with me the last 3 days. I've been hounding them on different aspects of technology, etc. So I think Naina and Rajshri, I hope your cameras are on because I'm bringing you up on the screen. Oh, Rajshri is missing from here, and Naina's camera is on. I'm bringing her up. Rajshri is, of course, missing in action. I think she must be handling the technology back end. But so that's Naina, and Rajshri is not here. But of course, this nothing on Showcase Studio happens without them or Showcase events. They're the biggest pillars. But of course, like I say, all good things have to come to an end. But before we end, Usha Didi put it beautifully, her closing words for all of us. However, I would like everybody to just give that one closing statement for Lata Didi. With that, we can come to the end of this evening. So, Sunita, let's start with you. One
Um,
closing word, statement. What is it that makes you think of Lata Didi? That one powerful word that comes into your mind.
yes, it's a quote from Shri P.L. Deshpande, the iconic cultural icon of Maharashtra, and he said, as as far as he's concerned, there is God, and then there is Lataji Sur.
Very powerful. Very, very powerful. That's beautiful. Atul, over to you.
I think we are all going to say the same thing. She's immortal. She lives on. She lives on through her music, and we're just, like I said, very fortunate to have been at a time when she was. So yeah, the songs will always be there.
True. Naren?
So many words come to mind: perfection, dedication, uh, immortality, eternity, timelessness. So many purity. That's Lataji.
Sorry.
Beautiful.
Purity, purity.
Beautiful. Deb, आप क्या कहना
I
चाहेंगे?
want to add one very important thing कि uh, उनके अंदर सारी खूबियां थी, वो ब्लेस्ड बहुत थे, इसीलिए वो व्हाइट कलर हमेशा वेयर करते थे. पर्सनली आई फीलिंग बिकॉज व्हाइट इज द सिंबल ऑफ ऑल, मीन्स इज द मिक्सिंग ऑफ ऑल कलर मीन्स उनके पास सारी खूबियां हैं, इसीलिए शायद लता जी को ही भगवान मीन्स चुने हैं कि स्वर की सम्राज्ञी. सो मेरे पास ज्यादा वर्ड नहीं है, बस फीलिंग है जिसको मैं ओठों से तो कुछ बयां नहीं कर सकता, बस उनको नमन कर सकता हूँ बस.
बहुत खूबसूरत, बहुत अच्छा कहा आपने. And absolutely, it's exactly the same sentiment. That's the same feeling, and that's the reason why we're here to get today. Like we said, there will never be another Lata Mangeshkar because she's left us with so much. We've got so much. So we can only celebrate the fantastic life that Lata Mangeshkar
Yes.
and our icon Lata Mangeshkar,
Perfection.
perfection,
Perfection in
purity,
ebony and ivory.
sincerity, passion, dedication, anything and everything you can put towards her. So thank you very much to each and every one of you, Sunita, Ushadi, Atul, Naren, Dev, and Rajdeep, although he's not here just now. But of course, each and every person, thank you so much for making this evening so
Nani, did you
special.
hear mine?
Yes,
Perfection in
Usha,
ebony and
yeah,
Perfection.
Usha's
ivory.
turn.
Yes, perfection, ebony and ivory. It's perfect.
Yeah.
That's really her. That's really her. So brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for everything. And it was so good to hear all these. I mean, it's kind of, we lived with her right now in this last 1 hour. In fact, it was supposed to be 45 minutes. I think we've done like 1.5 hours. We better get off before our audience leaves us and goes away. So thank you so much, everybody, for being with us. And for the audience, thank you for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you back very soon with lots more stuff. Follow us on our socials, like we say. And but forget about all that. Today was too special. So thank you for being with us. Take care of yourselves. Thank you and good
Thank you.
night.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Good night. Good night, everybody on the
Also,
Good
panel.
night. Bye.
Love
also
you
from
all
the
so
audience and from
much.
the artist, thank you, Ushaji, for joining
Thank
us and giving us the privilege to share this show with you. For an
Love you
artist
so
like
Great
much,
honor.
so much, each and every one of
it's a
you.
privilege.
Yeah.